Hi Stampers, this is Trevis. So today I'm going to make a monochromatic card, and which means I'm only going to use one color other than a neutral color, which neutrals would be like black, white, gray. So I consider those neutrals. And the other color that I chose today is shaded spruce. So this color is yummy. I love it. And it really goes well with other colors, lots of other colors. It looks really good with pinks. It's just a beautiful color. But today I'm going to just display it by itself. So let's get started today. I am going to use the Forever Fern set and dies. The Forever Fern set is just so fun to play with. I really like it because it has these 4 sayings in here. It also has these little speckles, which I'm going to use today also. So the actual stamps I'm going to use from the set. So this is a red rubber set, and it's cling, so super easy to use. Love that. I'm going to use this stamp, and I'm going to place that on my block. And then I'm going to also use one of the smaller leaves, this one. And then the saying I'm going to use from this set, I really like, it says, "To a friend that makes me smile." And it's this one. Okay, put that on here. And then I'm also going to use those speckles, splatters. I'm going to put those on this side. So there's how you can use your blocks. You can really use a bigger block and just put stamps on each side. And then I just want to talk to you about cleaning your blocks. So it is important to occasionally give your blocks a good cleaning. And you can do that different ways. You can use your Stampin' Mist and just a Kleenex or a paper towel, and you can clean them off on both sides, and especially where your hands are. You can put them in your dishwasher. So sometimes I'll just take all my blocks up and put them in the top tray of my dishwasher, and they come out squeaky clean. That's actually my favorite and easiest way to do it. So it's good to keep these clean, especially because you get a little bit of glue on them, and you need to be sanitary right now. So if you're having people over to stamp, you really need to clean them more often. Okay, so let's get started. The piece of cardstock I'm going to use is 4 1/4 by 11. So I'm going to fold that in half. Okay, so our card is going to open up from bottom to top like this. Okay, and then I'm going to use a piece of gray granite. So this is my neutral that I'm going to use today. Use my Stampin' Seal. So sometimes you have to just get your Stampin' Seal started. I found out that light touch and not so much of a check mark at the end works well. It's hard for me to break that habit because I've been doing that for so long. But boy, this tape is awesome. Okay, now the 4 little pieces, I guess I would call this a stripe card because I'm going to use 4 little pieces of white cardstock. These are 1 1/8 by 3 3/4. Because this gray piece is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And so you want these to layer nicely on here. So if you make them just a 1/4 inch smaller, they will layer nicely. Okay, so they're 1 1/8 each by 3 3/4. Okay, now let's open our pad. And we're going to random stamp these. I'm just going to random stamp some leaves different ways on these. I think I'll do a little, no, I think I'll leave it like that. I need to leave a little space for the other stamp, right? So they're all going to be different, and that's what you want to do. You want to kind of make them different. Okay, like that. Now I'm going to take my other little leaf, and I'm going to stamp that on these. This one, I'm going to do it twice. And then this one, I'll just do 1. Okay. Then I'm going to come back one more time, and I'm going to use the splatter. I'll I'll put a few little splatters on here. I think that adds, that little splatter, believe it or not, really adds something to these pieces. Now, another way you could do this is you could have left this whole piece intact and cut it later. But you know what I like about it? I like the randomness of it. I like how they're all doing different things. If you left them all together like that and then cut them later, you wouldn't have that randomness. You would kind of have a piece of designer series paper look. Okay? And then I'm going to take a piece of gray granite and I'm just going to stamp that saying right here, to a friend that makes me smile. I am done stamping. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use my everyday label punch, and I'm going to punch out that saying. All right. Okay, so I have a lot of my stampings done. Now, the only other piece I think I need is maybe a die cut piece. And the die cuts that actually bundle with the Forever Fern are these dies. All right, and there's just some really, they obviously cut out all the leaves, but there's this one that's individual. There's no stamp that coordinates with it. And so what I've done is I've cut that out of the shaded spruce. And I actually didn't care that this piece got cut off. I had this piece of random cardstock scrap, and I thought this is a good use of it, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that off anyway. I'll show you. I love this die, and I get a lot of use out of it because it's so large and it has so many leaves that you can really, I think I've talked about this before, you can really cut it apart and use it, just pieces of it. So keep that in mind. Okay. So what I think I'm going to do is just cut this. See how this got cut off right here? I think I'm just going to cut that off right here. Cut this off. Cut this off. So now I don't really need this piece. I'll save it for later. Maybe I'll use it on something. Okay, so I have this ready to go. All right, so let's assemble our card. I'll make sure I get this opening the right way. All right, and now it's a little tricky because you want to make sure you position these correctly on here so that they're spaced out correctly. So you want to just put a little tiny bit, hardly any, just a little tiny bit of adhesive on there. Now you can layer these. You can put these on and just make sure that they're spaced out perfectly before you glue them down permanently. Wow, I got lucky. Okay. So doing that, you know, these could be moved easily if I wanted to. So now I am just going to put some adhesive on the back of each one and give them the permanent glue down. It didn't rip my cardstock. No problems. And the last one is this one. Okay. So this could really be an anything card. I think you could mail this to a man. You could, it could be a sympathy card. Could be a birthday card for anybody, really. But I really like that it is simple Okay, so I'm going to put a couple dimensionals on the back, and then I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on here. And you could use your white glue for this also. If you're comfortable with the white glue, I'd say this would be a good item. You can also use the adhesive sheets. All right, we're just going to glue this down. And we're going to pop up our saying. Now I'm just going to add one little bit of a pop, and that's going to be our pearls. So our pearls are easily colored with your blend. So this is the Shaded Spruce blend. I'm just going to color those in. Love doing this. It dries super fast. Okay. Gonna use my U-Pick 2 tool to pull those off if I can. Okay. There we go. Okay, and the pearls I think add something to the card. You could certainly don't have to color them. I could have left them white, but since I do have the blend, I thought, well, I'll just go ahead and give it a little more color. So there's our card today. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will be starting to film on YouTube soon, so you will be watching me only on YouTube, and I hope that you will subscribe. Thanks so much. Bye.